Glory to Jesus Christ. My name is Bishop Nectarios, and today we're going to take a walk through our ancient faith. So, I have a question today about hopelessness and how to deal with feeling hopeless on a fairly regular basis. And this is a question that can sometimes be a little bit difficult because we ourselves are part of a system that is very machine-like. It doesn't really take into account the lives and interests of the people that comprise society because no one cares. That's the simple truth of it. We are brought up with the idea that it does not matter what we think, that it does not matter what we do. We have to do something, obviously. But people are brought up with this very entrapping negative mindset and mentality. And it's left to us to try to find some place within the framework that we can exist, or to rebel and become countercultural and to exist completely outside of uh, society and create something different or new. And then you have to deal with the consequences of that too. The judgment that comes from normies, and frankly, you have to deal with the fact that people are going to look at you differently no matter what you say or do. So for most of us, the answer is that we have to live in this system. And we feel hopeless because we realize just how tiny we are in the greater scheme of this massive, massive machine that is either our country or our tribe or our clan or whatever you want to insert here. So what do we do? What do we do about feeling hopeless? And it's not just this idea that we're lonely or that we're small in a huge thing. It's also life tends to beat you to your knees. Life tends to strip you of joy. I mean, for those of us who pay attention, have you ever noticed that usually just after something really nice happened, trouble starts? Whatever that might be, whatever that might look like, it's always problems, problems, problems. A little brief moment of happiness, then back to problems again. And you just get beaten down and weary. Well, what you can do is you can start to take stock of what's around you and who is around you. And this is important more than you might think because, simply put, one of the first things you can affect is your environment. Do you surround yourself with people that bring you happiness and joy? Or do you surround yourself with people that bring you drama and pain? Do you surround yourself with people that are always in trouble? And then you have to ask yourself, are you one of the kinds of folks who like feeling hopeless? Because that's a thing too. But getting back to my point, you start to take a look at your environment and who's around you and what they are doing and how you react to them. And maybe it's time to start making decisions. Are you happy going to a particular gym when there's these narcissistic gym bros that always beat you down because you can only do 20 sit-ups? Maybe it's time to find a different gym where you don't have to put up with that abuse. Are you around people that are always starting fights and then trying to pull you into those fights? Are you willing to fight beside that person? Do they mean that much that you're willing to roll up your sleeves and defend them? If so, then maybe keep them around. But if not, maybe it's time to simply give some space between you and them. You don't have to let people go if you don't want to, but that doesn't mean that you have to be intimately involved with the dramas of their daily lives either. Are you a part of, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 different things and you're just exhausted because you're doing all these different classes and activities and committing to all of these after work activities? And are you taking time for you? Are you caring for yourself in any real way? Are you showing any compassion for yourself? And if not, it's time to take another look and see what's going on, because you are abusing yourself. And it's easy to feel hopeless when you are tired, when you are dragged down because you are doing all these different things. Maybe it's time to let some of these things go and focus on others a little more. Are you doing what you love for a living? Have you found a way to make money doing what you love? Or are you working a job you hate? You got to drag yourself out of bed and get there, and it gives you no joy and fulfillment whatsoever. Are you living with someone that you genuinely love, or are you dealing with someone that you can only tolerate? Because the way I'm seeing it, this hopelessness, when you ask questions, breaks down to an inability to change the things in their life that they find so disagreeable, that they find so unhappy. But they do. It's just the consequences of letting go of those things and people and sometimes responsibilities. The fear of letting go of these things is often more powerful than the sense of despair that you feel by keeping them in your life. This is the time to be brave. This is the time to go out and find what makes you happy. If you are, let's take the example of this job. You're working a job you hate, you're dragging yourself to work every single day, can't stand your boss, or maybe it's a co-worker, or maybe you like everyone you work with, but the amount of work you're doing is making you tired every single day, and you go home and you have no energy to really do anything else. I heard about this guy that makes jeweled waffle makers, and he's booked 6 months in advance. You can make money doing what you love. And maybe you keep that job around in the short term and burn a little bit so that you can have what really makes you happy. So that you can find a way to make money doing what you love. Because let's ask you a simple question. Let's say that you're an all of the above kind of person, and you've decided maybe you're going to let people go that have been dragging you down and upsetting you, or maybe you're going to put some space between them and you. Let's say that you've decided to start finding a way to make money doing what it is you love to do, and you slowly phase out your job as you slowly ramp up the thing that you're passionate about. Let's say that you've decided to do away with the stress and the drama of belonging to all these other things, and you've eliminated 3 or 4 of them, and you've decided to focus a little bit more on something that really actually interests you. Is it probable that maybe you're not going to feel so hopeless? Yes, I think so. Because one of the first things that can change hopelessness is feeling like you have a choice, is feeling like you can make a change, that you are not stuck in this role, miserable, dealing with stress and drama. If you have the choice to make a change, would you? And it all starts with simply taking an inventory of what's going on, and then asking yourself simple questions. Do I want this in my life? Is this benefiting me in my life right now? And if the answer is no, what needs to change? Does it need to be removed? Does it need to be put a little farther away from you? Do you need to scale back a little bit? Did you used to love it, but the amount of effort you've had to put into it has kind of burned you out on it? Are you work? you know, really the simple statement of it is you figure out what's going on, you figure out what to do about it, and then you do something about it. Now, this isn't to say that someone doesn't have depression. And I hear a lot of people get very snide when it comes to depression, and really it's ignorant, very, very ignorant. Because it's ignoring the fact that depression is an actual mental illness, that it is a chemical mental illness, that it's not just a cheer up, everything's better, or look, these people have it worse than you, so you shouldn't feel bad, because it doesn't work that way. And anyone who's had genuine depression can tell you that it doesn't work that way, that no matter how hard you fight, you can't simply banish the feelings of depression away from your life. And man, it can hurt, physically ache. And in that case, it's necessary to go see someone, a doctor who can help you. Some of us don't like being on medication. Okay. Can you manage without medication? Does the doctor feel that some other method might be effective? You should always consult your doctor. Don't just decide to ignore serious medical conditions, by the way. You should learn coping techniques to deal with your mental issues, and you should do something about them. If you need to take your medication, take it. It's a small price to pay so that you can actually see something in the world other than all of what you're dealing with every day. Don't you deserve a little bit of joy in your life? A little bit of happiness? God, maybe a little bit of peace in your life. I'll tell you, this channel itself is peace for me. It is a way for me to get out and express myself and discuss things I love. I don't always have everything I want in my life, and quite often I have to go through hell with gas cans tied onto me. But I get a chance to do things that I love. I practice martial arts, I take care of writing, I play video games, whatever it might be. Go out and work on on the punching bag, or get on YouTube, start making some videos. There are ways that I've developed that may seem silly to someone else because it wouldn't work for them. But for me, it works. What works for you? What brings you joy? What makes you at peace? Because if you start to remove this stuff from your life, you're going to live longer, for one. Stress is the number one killer. And as guys, we're told just to deal with it. Cheer up, get over it. Smile. Oh, it's not so bad. If only it worked like that. If only it worked like that. If only it was that easy. Just to say, smile. Everything's fine. But you know what? That guy that you're telling to smile is fighting a million battles you know nothing of. He is suffering every day. But no one wants to hear it, so what do? We clam up. And that's the reason we're dropping dead at 50 and 40 and sometimes 60. It's because we stuff all that stress inside until we get a heart attack. Or we stuff that stress inside until our health starts to deteriorate and we just can't take it anymore. Bring peace into your life. If you guys watch the propaganda on TV, you'll realize that every day a million bad things are happening. They never cover the good stuff because that's not newsworthy. So maybe spend a little bit of time finding the good things in life, finding the joy, even if it seems a little cheesy. Isn't it better to bring good things into you than to watch suffering and pain and death? So that I'm going to leave you with that for today. What do you guys think? Put your thoughts in the comments. If you want to hear any video topics, let me know. As I said, I'm working on the first edition of Coffee with the Bishop, trying to line up an interview. That will be coming along soon. And the Patreon, I'm still trying to figure out how that thing works. Technology was never my forte, but I will figure it out. We're trying to start the fundraising to raise money to found a monastery here in Wyoming, and I'm hoping you folks will help. There's a lot of folks that need your prayers right now. A number of people, especially that I know, have been sick with the coronavirus, and it's not doing so good. Most of the people I know that get sick don't just get a little cough and feel like they had a bad cold. Some of them are really bad. I won't mention names on here without getting their permission, but just keep in mind, pray for those people who are afflicted with COVID. Sometimes it gets really ugly. And I'll leave you with that for today. I want to remind you that God loves you and I love you. Take care and God bless. We'll talk soon.